Daniel Dubois just destroyed Fabio Wardley and proved he is a true heavyweight wrecking machine. But the celebration didn't last long. The whole world is already looking at Moses Itauma, the young, dangerous predator many believe will end the Dubois era. And before Daniel even left the ring, it was his father Dave who made the biggest noise. He skipped the Wardley rematch talk completely and went straight after Moses Itauma.
Sam, what a brilliant fight between both men, first of all.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He showed what he was made of tonight, and he delivered. That's all I can say.
What were you saying to him in between rounds?
Knock him out.
Sam, before you go, do you want to see him fight Alexander Usyk again?
No, I want to see him fight this giant.
Congratulations.
Moses, what do you think of the fight? Moses, what do you think quickly? Stan, just before you go, do you think the fight should have been started sooner?
I thought so, but they were hoping that he would come back from the dead, weren't they? Because he's good at doing that, isn't he? But he weren't able to do it tonight.
Duke McKenzie is speaking up. He says the world wants this fight, but going up against a red-hot Daniel Dubois right now could be a very dangerous mistake for the young Moses Itauma.
Itauma is calling out Daniel Dubois. Now, that is a mouth-watering fight for obvious reasons. It's a mouth-watering fight. I don't know. Nobody knows. If that fight, given what we've just seen from Daniel Dubois, whether that might just be coming a little bit too early for the quite brilliant Moses Itauma. And let me just explain to you what I mean. When I say it's come too early for him, Moses has been blowing away everybody up until...
Duke is pointing to a scary truth. Fabio Wardley got completely overpowered by Dubois' brute strength, and the big question now is, can Itauma's youth and talent hold up against that kind of physical force?
Fabio Wardley had been blowing away everybody up until this point. But what he did last night, Daniel Dubois, against Fabio Wardley met his match because he came up against a big, meaty man and who could meet him for man's strength. Moses Itauma doesn't have his man's strength right now, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. He's good, he hits hard, he ticks every box right.
Tyson Fury jumped in with a chilling warning. He praised Dubois for taking out world-class fighters without ever being knocked down himself, and told Moses Itauma he is walking toward a man who simply will not go away.
After Dubois' unbelievable fight last night, Dubois fought Big Baby Miller, stopped him but never put him down. Then he fought Herkovich, stopped him but never put him down. He fought Wardley last night in an unbelievable fight, stopped him and never put him down. He hit Usyk with some big bombs, never put him.
Barry McGuigan is sounding the alarm loud and clear. He is breaking down the Wardley fight to show everyone this was not just a tough fight. This was a savage beating that destroyed a world-class fighter in a way that was genuinely frightening to watch.
It was brutal. It was a brutally tough fight. I mean, both of them showed tremendous courage, and it wasn't a brilliant technical spectacle, but as far as sort of brute force and punches landed and damage done, it was like incredible. And Wardley showed unbelievable resilience. I mean, he took some of the, we had Dubois at one stage, and we know that he is such a heavy, thudding, brutal puncher, and everything, he just eviscerates you with that power. And he's very, very heavy-handed. And you could see it on Wardley's face. You've seen him before. Watch him in the other fights against Clark and many other fights, but he never showed that type of pain before. He looked to be really in pain throughout the fight, particularly the second half of the.
McGuigan then shifts focus to how Dubois has evolved into a terrifying finisher who keeps his power deep into the late rounds. He raises a dark point. Every time Dubois lands, he is not just winning the fight, he is threatening his opponent's entire future.
you have to hand it to Dubois, despite the fact he's lost twice to Usyk and he's lost to Big Joe. He's come back and he's improved, and he's just got more resilience. And I don't think he's an awful lot different fighter than he was, 4 years ago. But he's just got better at going the distance, and he's got more experience. But what a fight! What a brutal fight! It was just like really, really severely tough, and Wardley was very badly marked up and, shaken. I mean, I hate to level blame at anybody, but ultimately the corner is responsible for their fighter. And, they are literally dealing with his future and his life.
McGuigan delivers a final, haunting verdict. The damage Dubois caused inside is something a fighter does not bounce back from. This is a wake-up call for the whole heavyweight division. The physical toll from that night may have already ended the road for Wardley.
I don't know, after a beating like that, I mean, I don't want it to sound extreme, but you look at it and you've been in the game a long time and you watch those sort of fights and you experience what guys, how they recover from fights like that. We saw the external damage, but we cannot tell the internal damage that was done, to the brain and that sort of stuff. And I mean, he took a phenomenal beating, and he showed unbelievable powers of recovery in the past. But you do not get hit like that by Daniel Dubois and come back. You just don't. And so it was.
Dominic Engel breaks down how Dubois has grown up mentally. He survived the dangerous early rounds through smart tactics, not just toughness. His team built him into a patient, calculated fighter who knows exactly when to take over.
I think that Daniel's just become much more mature how he fights. I know Usyk with a different kettle of fish. Usyk's a very difficult man to beat. But he recovered really well. He'll have been coached through that. If you're going to get dropped, the danger round's going to be the first 4 to 6 rounds. Don Charles will have told him that. Negotiate your way through them rounds, and then it's your fight. Fabio Wardley, I know he's pulled it out of the bag late on in fights, but for this fight, he's always going to be dangerous in the first couple of rounds.
Engel then exposes the big gap in skill between the two fighters. Wardley's toughness is real, but it could not match the boxing brains and sharp jab of Dubois. Pure heart was simply not enough once the technical side of the fight took over.
Then he's got power. And I always thought with this fight, look, you can't take anything away from Fabio. If I said to you, what is Fabio Wardley's number one attribute, is that he's an hard, tough man. That's what he is. He's brutal what he does. It's not boxing. That's not his number one attribute. His number one attribute is he's hard as nails, and he can punch. They're the things he's got. So he's not. His boxing's not better than that. Daniel Dubois has come through the system of the amateur system. Fabio hasn't. So he's well schooled in what he can do. He knows throw your jabs, get your ranges, make sure you're stepping in with the right hand. Box, keep your guard high, take your time, get your foot positioning right, be in and out of range, get your positioning right. Don't be always throwing the same shots. Always you have a really good jab, which he has got a good jab. Fabio's not got the best. He did actually employ it in one of the rounds when he was trying to reassert himself. He got the jab moving a little bit. But it's having the discipline to do that, because when you're a fighter, you just want to get in and throw bombs, hooks and uppercuts and, a bit of a jab.
Big Baby Miller crashed the post-fight buzz with a bold mix of love and beef. He gave Dubois props, but said it would have gone differently if he had been in shape. He also called out the UK officials, claiming an American fighter would have been saved rounds earlier, and demanded his rematch.
Shout out to my little brother Dubois with the win. Shout out to Dubois. But let me tell you something straight. You can't do that shit with me when I'm in shape. It's number one. And number two is, if Dubois or Wardley was American, they would have been stopped that fight. Let me tell you again. If Dubois or Wardley was an American fighter in the UK, as we've seen before, they would have been stopped that fight. That referee's known for stopping fights early. When Wardley fought Parker, Parker was nowhere as bloody and beaten up as badly as he was. And look how long it took the referee to stop that fight. This is the bias that happens in the UK. See for yourself. But I tell you one thing. Dubois, I got mad love for you. Give me my rematch. I'm respect.
Heavyweight contender Age Caballo could not believe what he had just watched. He praised the massive heart Dubois showed after getting dropped early, calling the whole fight wild and crazy, and said he was genuinely impressed by the comeback.
It was very hard for those two guys, but I think for the crowd, but also a nice fight. Unbelievable. I like it.
Was you surprised about the heart that Daniel showed?
Yes, 100% I was surprised. But Daniel gave a good performance. He was the first, and then the 4 rounds, I don't know. He was one down. In the second round, he was down. In the first round, he was down. And
first round and second round,
crazy. But he come back, I like it.
Yeah.
Carl Froch breaks it all down. One overhand right in the first few seconds almost ended everything. But that early success may have actually hurt Wardley. It pushed him to keep hunting for one big shot and abandon everything else that could have won him the fight.
Tear up. So Daniel Dubois becomes a 2-time heavyweight world champion. He took the WBO title off Fabio Wardley. And can I just say, what a tear up that was. Absolutely just enjoyed it so much. As you can see, from round 1 right through to the stoppage in round 11. It was so watchable, so exciting. You just didn't know what was going to happen. Round 1, Fabio Wardley comes out and throws an overhand right hand. Lands, top of the head, just sort of skimmed the top of Dubois' head. And he just flattened him, sat him down on the seat of his pants. Round 1. That may have actually been a bit of an undoing of Fabio Wardley because he got that shot and landed it. It seemed to be the only shot he then threw for the rest of the fight. He neglected his jab, neglected his head movement. It was reaching in. He was looking very crude in his attack.
Froch then breaks down how Dubois clawed his way back. His sharp, stiff jab was the key tool that let him regain control after 2 knockdowns. He proved he is a far more polished and disciplined fighter than his raw, heart-charging opponent.
Fair play to him, climbed off the canvas, got himself back into it. Nice, stiff, solid jab. He can box a bit. He's quite technically. When you're looking at levels of who's the better boxer, you can see that Daniel Dubois is a more polished professional boxer, and Fabio Wardley is very raw, and he's got no experience or no pedigree really, as he comes from the white collar. But that didn't stop him from having a go and trying. Round 3, he dropped him again, and I just thought he can't take the power. I mean, I didn't like the way Daniel Dubois got clipped, then stepped back, and then decided to sort of to go down on one knee. And he's done that before, and I thought, oh, this don't look good. But he got up, beat the 8 count, and carried on fighting. And then it was just a matter of Daniel Dubois then dictating the fight behind his solid jab. Very nice, solid, stiff jab. You see the jab land on the replays. Just snap the head back of Fabio Wardley, crunching jabs, and then stepping in with that right hand.
Froch goes big, comparing this fight to the all-time classic Hagler vs. Hearns war. He says Wardley's corner failed him, letting a tough but naive fighter keep walking into the same traps against a smart, dangerous counterpuncher.
Fabio Wardley at all, but he showed that he's a bit naive and a bit green. Like I said, his attacks were very crude. I don't know what Ben Davison should have been telling him. Stop throwing that overhand right from out of range. He's looking for the knockout punch. He's not even got his feet in range. So Daniel Dubois can just time him and then just counter him or walk him into a stiff jab. But I don't want to take anything away because this is probably fight of the year contender. I mean, the Inoue fight last week was technical and a boxing purist fight, but this fight was it Hagler Hearns in the heavyweight division? It was exciting, wasn't it? It was a great fight.
Weight Concept says this fight shook the entire heavyweight division. Dubois silenced every doubter by standing tall and proving he belongs at the very top. At just 28, with names like Joshua, Hrgovic, and Wardley already on his record, the Dynamite era is very much alive.
Fight like that at heavyweight in a very long time, and finally yesterday, Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley gave us an all-timer. It was up and down, it was back and forth, and finally it was a demolition job by Dynamite Daniel Dubois. This fight had everything. It had parity, it had controversy, it had comebacks from both fighters. It was insane, and we need to talk about it because Daniel Dubois just stood on business. Daniel Dubois made you remember that at 28 years old, he has a resume that includes big name after big name: Hrgovic, Joshua, Wardley, line up the heavyweights, and he's knocked them down outside of Alexander Usyk. And even people like me that question Daniel Dubois' heart, that question his mindset when things went bad, he had to answer that question yesterday, and he did some and more. Daniel Dubois is back.
Wade takes us back to those terrifying first 15 seconds. One massive overhand right, Dubois on the floor. The whole crowd thinking it was already over. Everyone waiting to see if Daniel would mentally shut down, like he had in the past when things went wrong early.
The fight started in a way that you almost couldn't believe. At the same time, you sat there and went, oh no, this is how it's going to end for Daniel Dubois. This is how his run at the top ends at a young 28 years old, because not 15 seconds into the fight, folks, Fabio Wardley lands an overhand right and puts Dubois on the canvas. 15 seconds into the fight. That's how quickly Fabio Wardley had a leg up on Dubois. And again, you sit here and you think to yourself, oh boy, okay, well, Dubois has been hurt in the first 15 seconds. We know what happens when Dubois gets hurt, the mental struggles, the confidence issues, the potentially checking out of fights. And now he's got 12 more rounds to sit on this one and stew, or to potentially look for a way out. And I hate saying it like that, but it's just, you've seen Daniel Dubois for years now dominate guys or be in good fights and win, but when things don't go his way, especially early, there tends to be a bit of a downhill slide for him throughout the fight. So when you see that first knockdown, you're like...
Johnny Fisher says the first 10 seconds nearly gave everyone a heart attack. Wardley dropped Dubois almost instantly, and nobody knew what was coming next. Fisher called the whole night a once-in-a-generation fight, and was genuinely grateful both men put on such an incredible show.
Don't blink, because in the first 10 seconds, as you said, Wardley drops Dubois, and you think, well, this could be over in a round or two. But it was just a fantastic fight, and all I can say off the top of my head is thank you to both them men for putting that show on, because fights like that, they're once in a generation, and I'm not over-exaggerating there.
Fisher argues that Dubois' past losses actually made him stronger. Fighting Usyk and Joyce at the top level gave him the tools to stay calm and fight smart when everything went wrong. Taking a knee was not weakness. It was a clever move that let his head clear so he could come back and dominate.
A brilliant resume, but Daniel Dubois, I know he's got them losses on there, but he's fought the top caliber. I mean, he's fought Usyk twice, he's fought Joe Joyce at the top of his powers, he's beat Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, Anthony Joshua, and I think them things, if you come through them moments and you're still in the game, they can build you rather than destroy you. And there's been a lot of rhetoric over Daniel Dubois. Does he quit? Does he take a knee? Well, taking a knee in this fight was probably the most sensible thing to do, because it allowed his head to clear. And he came back and he just came into the fight. Round 6 onwards was just in complete control, really. And I think them experiences have built him to be.
Fisher then uses his own sparring experience to show just how terrifying Dubois' power really is. He says nearly any other human being would have been knocked cold by those same shots. Wardley staying on his feet through all of that was genuinely remarkable, but his face told a real story.
He was bludgeoned for a long period, and I've sparred Daniel and Fabio many times, and I've seen some of Daniel's knockouts. And 95% of other men who get in that ring wouldn't be able to stand up to that power. So that's a testament to the chin of Fabio Wardley. He didn't get dropped. He was getting barraged, but he stayed on his feet and was so tough in there. And his face, as you said, was bludgeoned and cut up. And he done an excellent job of staying on his feet, if I'm being honest.
Daniel Dubois has set the heavyweight world on fire. He showed man strength and mental toughness to survive a total war. But Moses Itauma's shadow is growing fast. Legends like Fury and McGuigan warn that Dubois' damage is permanent and career-ending. So the big question is Itauma ready to step into that fire, or is it too soon? And can Wardley ever truly recover from a beating this brutal? Drop your thoughts below, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.